Well, it's New Year's Eve, and we're here in downtown St. Catharines at the FirstOntario Performing Arts Centre for a party. We've got Matt Dusk here, and he's going to take the stage, and we're going to talk a little bit with him because he's back here in Niagara.
Out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum.
Now, you've been here for a while. You've been traveling with this show for quite a while now through 2024.
It's been a wild year. I think this year we had almost 100 shows, and this is our last of the year. I got 3 weeks off. The reception's been exceptional. I've been very, very happy to see how people really enjoyed this. We were in Switzerland and Germany and the States, and I have to say though, such a pleasure to have, the last day of the year, the last gig of the year in our home country of Canada. We are very, very blessed.
Mm-hmm. Close to home. And
yeah, and great audience.
Wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I draw you near. Wait till you see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it here.
Now, you're obviously familiar with the music you're doing today. Tell us the influence that Tony Bennett had on you.
Well, I think it was 2004. I first moved down to Las Vegas, and I got to see him live in concert and got to meet him backstage numerous times and share stories. And he was one of the last people, actually probably is the last person from that great crooning era. I mean, anybody who came after him, much younger and say a great singer like Paul Anka, although he is a crooner, he started off being, a real pop star, right? Where Tony Bennett was always a jazz singer. That was always his legacy.
Now, we've just passed the Christmas, whole Christmas thing. You were quite involved in Christmas. You're a Hallmark actor now, aren't you not?
What an interesting thing.
Did you meet the girl at the bake shop?
Yeah,
and the whole thing?
yeah, that's always the joke. It's like, small town girl comes to town, meets a small town boy. When I first was offered to do the part, I thought it was like, oh, I'm going to go on screen and do a couple lines. Mm-hmm. And then 10 days before the movie shoot, I got a script of almost 20 pages. And man, is that hard to memorize. Plus, I have no real formal acting experience. Watching and sharing the stage with these incredible actors. I mean, you realize why they're professionals, and I kind of had like a little bit of the imposter syndrome because I'm like, oh, why am I here? These are just, but everybody there was very, very, very kind and welcoming.
Now, I wanted to ask you as we roll along here, what is next plan for Matt Dusk? Do you have a new album coming out? Or are you always working on stuff?
So I got home from tour, I think on the 23rd or 22nd, and I've got I start hitting the road again in February, but I'm always doing new music. And the thing is, when you're doing a show like this, especially after doing 100 dates or so of the same show, it becomes like a fine oiled machine, but you do realize that you have to change it, and then it's quite daunting because you've taken all that time to create in my opinion, a good show that represents really what it is. We're telling stories about Tony Bennett. We're representing his music. So now we have to come up with a whole new show. And since I got home, I have this counter of how many songs I listen to, and I've listened to, you're gonna laugh, over 2,000 songs. Now, not top to bottom, but just like, okay, could I do that? Okay, it's like, and slowly you chip away and you get like a nice collection. So definitely putting a new show together, but you're gonna have to wait a few more months.
I'll have to wait, but how long will I have to wait to see you do another video on social media?
Oh, yeah. So
you got a song in the works now?
So funny that you should say that. Part of my plan next year is, as I'm going through all these songs, I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, which one can I turn into, flip it on its head, and maybe have like a little cool swing groove, kind of like how what did we do? We did a couple Taylor Swift songs. We did Sabrina Carpenter, Miley Cyrus, and you know what? It's It's fun to do.
It's
I
fun
mean,
stuff,
you can't monetize it, but it's still it gets the creative juices kind of going.
So what was your all-time favorite Tony Bennett song that you're looking forward to performing here tonight?
You know,
Might be too hard to choose.
No, it sounds so cliche, but I've really fallen in love with the song I Left My Heart in San Francisco, just because the story of, when Tony took on the song, he wasn't really expecting much of it. It was just he was passing through, finishing his tour off in San Francisco and wanted a song to sing about it. And, people reacted in the town really well. Unfortunately, the critics thought it was a pretty schmaltzy song. But then what matters most is people called into the station and said, hey, play that song again, and the rest is history, and it's his signature song. So how do you fill a man's shoes like that? And it was quite daunting.
I left my heart in San Francisco, high on a hill. It calls to me.
But after 40 times of trying to record the song and then finally getting to the stage, it kind of takes me down memory lane of when I would see him, because that's the one song he would always perform. And backstage, and it was like that's Tony Bennett, that song. So when I sing it, I'm really like, what a gift his voice was, his music was for us. And I try to leave people off with that same idea. It's like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Tony.
Yes.
Right? What a mark he's made on so many people's lives.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's great having you back in town.
Thank you for the time.
All the
It's good
best,
to be here.
and Happy New Year.
I forgot how beautiful this hall is, and it's
Yeah.
Thank you for coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. Keep going.
Happy New Year to you.
And Happy New Year to you, and you, and you, and you.
And you.